Welcome back to Level Funded University. Today, we're going to cover something that is a bit more nuanced and a bit deeper for many brokers out there, and that is a big question, which is why are we still doing underwriting? I thought AI solved all these problems. Well, folks, AI solves some, but it does not solve all. That's why we're still in business and why we are able to do some beautiful things in the underwriting process. And the biggest thing that we can do is we can be more accurate. Now, whenever you are a group out there who has the best health, you are going to benefit from the most accurate underwriting possible. Now, why is that the case? Because underwriting at its core is trying to take a certain reality or the current reality and project it into the future. Now, it's never going to be perfect, but the more we know about what's going on currently, the more we can predict with accuracy the future. Now, why does that matter? Well, in short, the more accurate you are, the more money we can put inside of the claims account for the actual risk. Now, when we know the actual risk and those monies go into the claims account or the plan's claims account, realize that that money is surplusable back to you as the client or back to your client as the broker. That is one of the most beautiful things you can do in level funding is return the capital that they've already put in and use it year over year over year. Assuming that you do not have claims that chew up your entire claims account, then this money is retained by the group. Now, why is that beautiful? Well, that should go without saying, but what it really does is it allows the small employer to operate under the same rules that Wall Street has for years. The big guys have been using level funding or its kind of generational daddy self-funding for decades. Now, we've been doing it for decades here at ATA, but most of Main Street still doesn't know about it. Now, why is underwriting so important to that? Well, to get a bit nerdy just for a second. Whenever we are underwriting, we are throwing a dart. Now, that's a very poor way to throw a dart, so I'm right-handed. So you're throwing a dart at a dartboard. Now, the tip of that dart is either more narrow or more wide based on the accuracy of the underwriting. With IHQs, or traditional underwriting, it is still a tighter point on small group. So we can be more accurate to the actual price. And in doing that, we can put either more money into the claims account or we can have a lower overall cost, apples to apples. There's no free rides in this world. So when you're underwriting, you want to be as accurate as possible. And that is the biggest part of underwriting. The second part, the part that people don't like to talk about, is that underwriting also helps catch the 1 or 2% of people out there that are looking to game the system for themselves at the expense of everyone else. Now, historically, we've called these free riders or sociopaths or people who are only out for themselves at the expense of the system. However you want to frame it, it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. Whenever you have people who are trying to game the system for themselves at the expense of the system, you get a thing called corruption. Now, we don't want that. We don't want corruption. We want a pure system in which people are rewarded for good behaviors, period. So underwriting is an additional catch, not just to price the accurate information, but it's also to catch the Machiavellian, or I know that some people don't like that term, or to catch the aggressive actors who are out to serve themselves at the expense of everyone else. We all know those people, and we all, in general, try to avoid them. Now, with that, we're going to cover some basic terms that you need to know about underwriting as we've established why it actually affects the prices for your groups and the people that you're trying to serve and protect. Realize the tighter it is to get in, the better off they're going to be. And your experience as the broker will be a little bit better and a little bit longer and a little bit better retention, which is what everybody's after. So why is underwriting on IHQs important for small group? Frankly, because it's more accurate. At least currently, this is 2025. Underwriting for small group is more accurate. And when I say small group, I mean 5 to about 30. Up to about 50, there's an argument, but I don't think many people would disagree with me that under the 30 mark, IHQs are still a more accurate way to go. Underwriting is trying to reflect reality. So it's trying to say, this is where you are, this is what we have in known cost, and then insurance is the protection against the unknown. Okay, fantastic. So if we have a more accurate model, then we'll have a better way to do it, and we'll have better rates or better surpluses in the long run. Now, other players will take it and they'll game this and say that half of the money inside of the surplus account is why we can do an easier underwriting. Well, it's half of your client's money, and it's half of your referral future and your renewal future. So realize that there's an expense to pay whenever you take the easy route. And usually it's your future or your clients. Now, what is the primary advantage? It's accuracy. Folks, it's accuracy. And that accuracy brings up retention. And retention in this business is the key. Now, to go slightly deep, since we are in level funded university, this is my belief. The reason why AI underwriting is less accurate is because it is pulling off of historical data for those individual members. And there is a latency in the reporting of that from someone saying they went to the doctor 6 months ago and it takes time to be reported, kind of like claims take time to be reported to stop loss. It takes time for them to report it to the avatar builders or to the AI companies, whereas IHQs are now. So there's a latency built into the AI model that, frankly, cannot currently be jumped, as I understand it. Now, many people say that AI underwriting is the future, and I think augmentation of our current underwriting model with AI is the future. But to replace something entire, I think is a little bit more aggressive. Now, everybody on this conversation, including myself, would love a model that worked that was much simpler. But because everybody on this conversation wants to be in this business for longer than the next renewal season, they want to be in it for their life so that they build a great career and serve their Main Street clients, we realize that we don't just want it now, we want it in the future. So with predictive underwriting models, they will continue to get better and we will continue to use them, but there is no way to get rid of, at least currently, predicting human behavior without humans involved. There's nuance, there's conversation, there's art to it. Now, maybe this is me being proud of ATA, and I know I am, but I still think that that's going to be the way the future goes forward. We'll make our employees and our underwriters a little bit more effective, but there's no way to replace them because humans are still incredibly valuable. So whenever we talk about underwriting and predicting the future, how is an IHQ model or an individual health questionnaire a little bit more fair? Well, in general, because the accurate information is more recent and because it is more accurate, you are more closely pricing to reality. Now, whenever people are doing well in reality, they want it to be as close to reality as possible. When people are looking to gamify the system, they want it to be as separated from reality as possible. Now, you can always tell the doers from the theologians, if you will, or to say it in a different way, the practitioners from the thinkers. Folks, we need both. And IHQs marry those two, where the AI is all theoretical. And in doing so, I've seen a number of our competitors, this is 2025, lose tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars betting on an AI-only future. Now, what does that mean for you as the broker? It means that you've had a crazy ride in the last number of years as carriers and underwriters or MGUs have bet on this system. And many, many, many of them have lost their shirts and introduced a lot of pain and almost no surpluses back to their clients because the model has not worked as hoped. And folks, I'm still hoping that it will be better, but right now it's not that case. Additionally, IHQs are much more transparent. It's not an opaque system. People are signing off on giving up their medical information. So because of that, you have a much better and more accurate look. Inside of the AI model, because of data protections, and I'm not saying they shouldn't exist, you have classes of individuals, but you cannot build a custom solution to those individual classes because you don't know who you need to talk to. If you have a business owner who has a very expensive RX that you could source alternatively, you don't know who that is inside of the AI model, which means you can't go talk to Sally and say, Sally, this is $20,000 a month in the US, or it's $4,000 a month in the Caymans. Do you want to run this on a biological sourcing program? Because you don't know. And because of that, you as the broker are being discounted in your value because you cannot provide as deep of a service because you do not have the information. Now, with that, the transparency to get there is always beneficial. There's a second benefit, which is a little deeper. Transparency is like sunshine. It is the best disinfectant. Whenever things are opaque, it enables people, and I'm not saying they're all doing this, but it enables the people who want to game the system to use the opacity to do so. Now, I know that's a big word, but in general, if someone is minding the till and there's a camera on them, are they going to be more honest or less? Obviously more, or maybe the same at very best. But I would rather bet on a transparent system than bet on each and every actor who is behind an opaque wall to keep up the same morality that I would hope that they have. Transparency is paramount, and IHQs enable that. with this, I think that IHQs are going to remain the gold standard at least for the next couple of years. Nobody knows the future, which is what's so funny about underwriting. We are trying to predict the future, which means we're trying to guess accurately because nobody has a crystal ball. Anybody who prognosticates, if you will, about more than 6-8 months down the road is guessing. Now, our model, the IHQ model, the industry standard model, has been around for decades, and it's pretty darn good at guessing. Now, that doesn't mean the new one won't be eventually, but as it currently sits, if you want your clients to have more stable renewals in general, have more money surplus back to them, 100% surplus ability, then the IHQs is the gold standard. Now, this is 2025. In 2030, I may be wrong, but at least for the next couple of years, I'm willing to bet you a nickel the IHQs are going to be the way to go for small group Main Street. All right, we'll see you in the next one, and we'll keep learning about level funding.